Hey everybody, Jam Creates here. I am back in the car and getting ready to drive home, and it's Friday. Yes, you should be warned. Sometimes I sing when I'm happy. Not like singing songs, but kind of just sing-songy talking like you just heard. Anyway, back in the car, weekend's coming. Couldn't come at a better time because I am tired. I don't feel so great, so we'll see. I don't know how long this video will be. I'm going to drive home. I'm going to stop and pick up dinner on the way home. So whatever. Anyway, to the topic at hand. Today's topic... Oh, those people look like they're having an argument in the car. That's always funny when you see people yelling at each other in the car. Anyway, the topic at hand today... I believe I shall talk about, I think I'm going to talk about crowdfunding. I'm going to talk about Indiegogo versus Kickstarter, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. You know how these things go. If you've listened to any of these, you know how they go. They start one place and they wind up someplace totally different. So anyway, crowdfunding campaigns, things like that. Not a big fan of things like GoFundMe unless like you're seriously screwed and you need like medical bills paid or something like that. Like, I could understand that. People who use GoFundMes for just like, help me, buy sandwiches or whatever. Like, that's just dumb. Like, come on. Anyway, but if you're going to put out a book or something, it's really actually kind of interesting right now, because if you're going to put out a book on a crowdfunding site, it really does seem like Indiegogo is the way to go. But, as opposed to Kickstarter, if you're going to put out a comic book, the money just seems to be on Indiegogo. That's where the people have gone now. It used to be all about Kickstarter, and... there's still some people who have success over there, of course. Somebody like Brian Pulido has a lot of success still. His Lady Death, he got like 250,000 on that one. He's got another one going now. I forget what it's called. It's like Devil Lady or something. I forget exactly what it's called. But he's doing well for himself over there. But he's a long-time established guy. He's got a loyal following, and he's making his money regardless. But it seems like, at least, if you're going to do a crowdfunding campaign, it certainly seems like Indiegogo, if you're doing a comic book, Indiegogo seems to really be the way to go. Just because that's where the most success stories are right now. Now, again, as always, there's more to the story. You see... You can really see when you look at the campaigns, when you look at Kickstarter's comic book campaigns, there seems to be a trend there. And when you look at Indiegogo, the trend for comic books on Indiegogo really just seems to be like, hey, we're making comic books because we like comic books. And the most successful ones are like, dude, this is an action comic with really good art and a cool story. And it's a comic book. It's not trying to change your life. It's not trying to do anything political or anything like that. It's just trying to tell a fun story with action and adventure. And that's what comic books were always meant to be, action and adventure stories. And when you look at Kickstarter, you've got these bizarre comic book projects on there where it's like, this is a story about people who ride bicycles in outer space. What? Like, it's like... Here's a story about exploring witches who ride... Literally, there was one about, like, witches who ride bicycles in outer space and explore gender stereotypes or something. It was, like, insane. It was, like, who on earth looked at that pitch and said, yeah, that's the one I want to back for sure. Really? I don't know. It's just some strange stuff. And... I always wonder if people look at me and like think, in this day and age, they probably just think I'm talking on the phone, which is in a way what I'm doing. I'm talking to my phone. Anyway, Crowdfunding stuff, I mean, here's the other thing about crowdfunding, and this is, listen, I am by no means a crowdfunding expert, but it is something that I am looking a lot into, because eventually, maybe I would like to do one, and maybe I would like to, because I do want to make a book one day. I want to make a comic book one day, and, I've told, that's no big secret, and seeing how it's done is definitely pretty cool. And one way you do that, I mean, clearly, like, the biggest success stories on Indiegogo are the ones affiliated with Comicsgate. Now, you can think whatever you want of Comicsgate. I happen to like a lot of those books, and I happen to have backed a lot of those books in the interest of full disclosure. Yeah, I backed Cyberfrog, I backed Jawbreakers, I backed Lone Star. I talked about that before. I've backed, God, I don't even remember. I backed Stardust. I backed Red Rooster. I backed Bigfoot Bill. I backed a lot of these books. And a lot of the reason why I backed these books is because, one, the books look really good. And two, the creators are really cool. And how do I know that? Because I see them on YouTube all the time. I see them on Twitter all the time. And they're always interacting with fans, and they're appreciative of their fans and their backers, and they're appreciative of the people they have on YouTube and their YouTube audiences. And they interact with them all the time. And that's a great way to build your crowdfunding campaign. Build an audience first and go from there. Now, of those guys, clearly the biggest audience is with Ethan Van Sciver and his Comic Artist Pro Secrets channel. And he does a really nice thing that he doesn't have to do. He brings on people that have books that look interesting to him, that are... I don't think I've ever seen anything political on there. I mean, I guess maybe Trump's Space Force, but he didn't really go to bat too hard for that, honestly. I mean, he had Tim Lim on, and he had Chuck Dixon on, but, like, he didn't, like, go hard in the paint for that one. Not like he has for a lot of the other ones. Graveyard Shift, which also another one I backed, because that looks freaking awesome. He helps these people out. Now, some of them need more help than others, obviously. I mean, something like, let's say, Detective Dead. Detective Dead by Critias. I don't even know what his real name is. I just know his online handle. But Critias is not a guy who's got a huge, long history in comic books and a big following and anything like that. Like, I only know this guy from his time on YouTube and his interactions with the other YouTubers. With Ethan and Antonio and Brand. That's another one. Brand is another one I backed, because Kanan White's art is freaking amazing, and the story sounds cool, and Antonio White is such a charismatic dude when he's on, like, the morning show with Ethan all the time. He's great. He's hysterical. He's fun to listen to. And he really sells you on that he's trying to make a good book. And that's a key, that these people are saying, hey, I'm trying to make a good book. And so when they get their crowdfunding going on Indiegogo, and Brand actually is a really interesting story, because they launched Brand on Kickstarter and did not do well. It failed at Kickstarter. And I think they even did an Indiegogo, and it failed at Indiegogo. And that's what the point I'm trying to make is, just launching a campaign on Indiegogo is not going to guarantee your success. You still have to promote the hell out of it, and you've still got to work hard. And if you ever hear these guys when they're doing their campaigns, by the end of their campaigns, they are exhausted. They're exhausted. And a lot of these guys, when you're talking about someone like, say, Ethan or Doug or whatever, like, they're not working day jobs. Like, this is their job. They are comic book writers and artists, and they are now YouTubers as well. Those are their jobs. Other guys, like, I'm pretty sure Antonio, or like Ben Jones, who's doing Asgard, which also looks awesome. These guys work other jobs. They have jobs. They work their regular, their regular 40-hour a week or whatever, their 9 to 5, or in the case of Ben Jones, the overnight shift. And then they work on their comic books, and they're on YouTube. And these guys are hustling. They're out there trying to make it happen, and it's working for them. And you always hear Antonio talk about how their campaign failed miserably, and it wasn't until he became a part of this whole movement and met with Ethan Van Sciver, and they hit it off, and he's on the show all the time, and Ethan helped to promote his book. It wasn't until then that brand finally became a success story. And now I don't even know what they're at. I think they're at like 40 or 50 grand or something like that, which is fantastic, because before this happened, no one knew who Antonio was, certainly, and nobody knew who Kanan White was. And Kanan White is I will be forever grateful to, because that guy helped me out on Twitter. I was posting stuff, and he was responding and giving criticism and feedback on my art. Same thing with Donald DeLay, who's doing the art on Brutus the Badass. Donald DeLay was like the first one who gave me feedback on my art, and that's awesome. And at some point it turned into Donald and Kanan and Kelsey Shannon all together giving me feedback on my art as I'm posting stuff on Twitter. How do you beat that? I mean, that's awesome. That's so awesome. That's why I don't understand. I mean, I do understand the nonsense of people trying to label these guys as haters and everything else, and they're racists, and they're this and they're that. And I mean, forgetting the absurdity of calling Antonio and Kanan racists, when the two of them are, as they like to refer to, POCs. They are people of color. Or as a friend of mine used to say years and years ago, a guy I used to work with, he was a funny dude, and he used to call himself, he used to say, "We're the people of the sun," because he wouldn't get sunburned and I would. That was my friend Omar. He used to, oh my god, that guy was hysterical. But yeah, I remember he spent like an entire day just walking around work, talking, putting his arms out to his side, raising them up to the sky, and being like, "We're the people of the sun." Whatever. It was just funny. So, you've got all that nonsense, but here's this group, and they're together, and they're promoting people, and now you see them constantly taking on new people and making them successful. Kyung Lee, who's doing Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. John Malin had him on first, and then Ethan had him on, and dude's crowdfunding campaign was funded in like a day, because it looks incredible, and he helped. They helped it along. They gave it the promotion, and it puts Ethan in a tough spot, definitely, because he's got to be like, who do I promote? Who do I not promote? And he's said it many times that he needs to see that you're already doing the work of trying to promote your book, number one. Your book has to look interesting to him, number two. And it has to look good to him, that's three. And four, when he has you on his show, when you eventually break through and you get on his radar and he has you on the show, you got to be like entertaining. You can't just be a dud on the show. So, I mean, that's why he had a lot of people on, because he saw them already doing the work. Guys like Ben Jones and guys like Antonio Bryce and Kanan White were already trying to hype their stuff before they got attached with Ethan. And, he just helped them take it to the next level, because he's got a platform that most people don't, and that's pretty awesome. I think Diversity in Comics could do the same thing, but Zach is like terrified of live streaming with anyone else. So it just kind of is what it is, but that's fine. Whatever. I mean, everybody's got to do their own thing. You can't expect someone to do it for you. You got to do it yourself. And that's, again, that's part of what I'm doing here is I'm trying to build an audience, and, you know, I hope you guys find me entertaining. And, newsflash, by the way, I don't know why I said that, but, all my videos from now on are being uploaded to YouTube, of course, but they are also simultaneously being uploaded, I should say, to BitChute. Now, I don't know if you know what BitChute is, but it's a YouTube alternative. It uses BitTorrent-like, whatever you want to call it, delivery system, I guess you could call it. But it uses that to help, deliver videos to people. And there's a streaming service. It's just like YouTube. But it's just an alternative, that's all. And the difference with BitChute is they seem to be like, pretty much as long as you're not uploading anything illegal or pornographic, they're going to host your stuff. At least that's what it seems like. So we'll see how that goes. Sometimes these open platform things get shut down anyway by alternative means. So we'll see what happens, but I'm on there too. So if you're more interested in that, hey, I'm on there too. These are my experiments in marketing. These are the things I'm trying. I'm, posting my stuff on Twitter. I'm posting my stuff on Facebook. I'm posting my stuff on Minds. I'm posting my stuff now on BitChute. I'm trying these different things. We'll see what happens. I do want to start live streaming eventually. I feel like I just need to have more of a following before it's worth live streaming, because otherwise, I'm going to be live streaming to myself. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well just record a video. Although we'll see. I'll probably do one soon anyway, just as a test to wrap my head around how the whole thing works and how to make it work and everything else. So we'll see. I'll probably do that soon. I think I'm going to just wrap it up there, just talking a little bit about crowdfunding and what I'm going to do and what I've been doing and that kind of thing. And the difference between Kickstarter. Oh, I didn't even really get into that. Let me just do that real quick. Kickstarter. They do have these weird stuff on there, and the reason is because they have a person in charge of which campaigns they will allow to run on Kickstarter. And they already played their hand and showed what they are when they denied Diversity in Comics from running his Jawbreakers campaign there. He was all about running his campaign on Kickstarter until they denied it. And why did they deny it? For no reason. There's nothing wrong with Jawbreakers. There's nothing even controversial about it. It's about a bunch of G.I. Joe-ish dudes with superpowers who fight a giant gorilla. Really? What could possibly be offensive or against, the rules of Kickstarter? There's nothing against the rules. They just knew who it was, and they didn't want to help him crowdfund his book. So he took it to Indiegogo, and the rest is history. Indiegogo has become the de facto platform for Comicsgate. And Indiegogo seemingly is perfectly happy with that fact. Why? Because they're making money. That's what a crowdfunding site is supposed to do. It's supposed to make money for the crowdfunding site. Yeah, it's to help you make money for your project, but the more money you make for your project, the more money they get from their cut, because they get a cut of it all. Kickstarter has now seemingly been infiltrated or taken over, or whatever you want to call it, by people who, once again, have no idea how business works. Businesses are in business to make money. That is the simplest rule of business. Never forget that. A lot of people seem to have forgotten that. Or a lot of people seem to just genuinely not care. They get these jobs where they actually have a say in how much money the company's going to make. If you're the one in charge of deciding who's getting those crowdfunding campaigns, if you pick the wrong ones, your company's making less money. So you're absolutely hurting your company's bottom line. But they don't care about that because they don't seem to understand business, and they also don't seem to care about keeping these jobs because they seem to be untouchable. For whatever reason, once they get in there, nobody wants to fire them for not doing their jobs. I wish I could have a job like that where I could just not worry about I wouldn't even have to do my job properly, and I still wouldn't have to worry about losing my job. That must be nice. So anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. I am here. I'm going to be picking up dinner from my family. So, I'm going to find a parking space and get my food. And that's going to be that for this video. So, holy crud. Why is there no parking here? Alright, I'll park way over here. That'll be fine. Okay. Alright, so that's that. If you like this video, please, and I really don't know why you would, but if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. Like the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. I really need to work on my outros for my videos. I feel like I need something clever to say at the end. But that's it. So I'll see you soon, and peace out.